So, home vlog today. For anyone that's new to our channel, I'm Cameron, this is Daniela.
This is Jarvis.
Yes, this is Jarvis. Hey, Pupper. We have notes here in front of us on the laptop that you can't see, so that's why we might keep looking down for references. So, May 2018, we started planning our honeymoon with Trailfinders, and then March to April 2020, we went to California on our honeymoon using Trailfinders. Looked at a lot of different companies, ended up choosing Trailfinders in the end, and we wanted to share our experience using them.
So, I don't know if people have watched our vlogs, but a bit about our honeymoon. We went for 3 weeks to California. So we flew from Edinburgh to San Francisco, but we had to swap over in New York, so there was no direct flights. We stayed in San Francisco for 3 nights and then rented a car from San Francisco so that we could drive down the coast. We then did Monterey for 1 night, one of the coastal places. Drove to Pismo Beach for 2 nights and then drove to LA where we got rid of the car and stayed in LA for 4 nights. We then got an Uber We then got an Uber to Disney, to Anaheim, and we stayed at Disney for 3 nights. Well, we didn't stay in Disney though,
No.
But yeah. And then we got an Uber to the airport, LAX airport.
Yeah.
Flew to Vegas and stayed there for our final 3 nights and then flew home again via New York. So yeah, there was lots. Our honeymoon was very packed full. But we'll describe all the different events and things that we did.
Yes, so wanted to say, why did we choose a travel company in the first place? Normally we would book everything ourselves, we'd get the flights and we'd get the hotel separately, but we knew that it was going to be a long stay with different places and lots of different flights, so we wanted everything together, one payment and under one protected package. So that's why we chose to go with a travel company in the first place. So as I said earlier, we researched different companies and we narrowed it down to 2, Keone and Trailfinders. So both had local branches that we could go visit and speak to someone in person. Both had good reviews from people we know and online, and both provided honeymoon options packages. So decided we'd go and visit both. Now bear in mind, when we first went to visit, we were looking at Maldives and lots of different things. I think it was...
We hadn't really settled on a location.
Yeah, it was originally Maldives, Dubai I think was the first sort of thoughts. So visited Keone first. They were out of the park. It's a lot more expensive than what we'd expected. Felt like the staff were interrogating us rather than being inquisitive and wanting to know what we wanted. It felt like you had to give the right answer so as you could even continue to the next step. Just didn't really feel all that welcome there.
It was very pushy.
Yeah. So went to Trailfinders, instantly felt a lot more welcome. Felt like he wanted to know more than where we just wanted to go. He wanted to know what we wanted out of the holiday, what we were hoping to do. And they also had better prices out at the start. So we started planning Dubai and Maldives, which was way too expensive for us, it turned out. That then changed to the idea of Hawaii, which then changed to half Hawaii, half California, and budget cutting again. And this was what, right after all the volcano eruptions had happened?
Yeah.
We decided we would just do California. The travel agent, he was absolute professional. He didn't mind at all that we were so uncertain what we wanted. He was really helpful in getting us to where we want, knowing what we wanted to do. So that's a big plus to Trailfinders in my books. So we didn't book anything. We left with a quote for flights, hotels and a couple of activities. And the quote itself was before the public flight prices came out. So they had predictions, I think it was like 12 months or something in advance. Can't entirely remember it. And for us to book it ourselves, it would have been £400 to £600 more expensive. We worked that out whenever the public flight prices did come out in the end. So we then called up Trailfinders to ask if our quote was still valid, and it was. So we paid the deposit and booked it, and saved ourselves, what, $50,000 if we'd booked our plan from when we booked ourselves.
So yeah, as we're saying, we're just focusing mainly on what we use Trailfinders for. If there is any other information on the honeymoon that you want us to talk about, then leave us a wee comment and we can discuss all that as well, but we'll go through everything that we use Trailfinders for. So all the flights were booked through Trailfinders. We flew with United. It meant that even the smaller flights, like the Vegas,
LA.
yeah, which was internal, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the term they use.
We were still allowed the same luggage as we had been on the ones that were from Scotland to America, which meant that we weren't going to be worried about our big cases. So we got 2 carry-ons and a big case each. We got to choose our seats in the shop as well for no charge. Yeah, our seats for all the flights, didn't we?
That was included in it.
And well, yeah, we didn't use any transport from hotels or anything like that, but they probably would have been.
There would have been an option, yeah.
And some changes were made to some of the flights. I think it was only by like an hour or so, but they were quick to email us to say that those changes were made and didn't affect us really.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 changes in total. It was just like the flight leaving an hour earlier or an hour later. It wasn't that big a thing, but it was still nice to know that Trailfinders were very quickly telling us all these changes, so we always felt like we were in the loop. So flights, that was all through Trailfinders. All our hotels were through Trailfinders. On all the reservations they made a note saying honeymoon couple. We didn't really get any upgrades. We got a few gifts. This isn't us like complaining saying it's terrible they didn't give us anything. It's just a note. Might be a case of we were just kind of driving through for a lot of places. It was short visits, so why bother that much? They're not going to spend much money in the hotel restaurant and that. Who knows? So San Francisco, we stayed in Hotel Zephyr for 3 nights. By the way, what I'm going to try and do is add a card to all our room tour videos whenever I discuss each hotel, so hopefully that'll appear for you to click and see the room tour. So that was through Trailfinders to Hotel Zephyr, and while we were there, through Trailfinders we also booked a 2-day hop-on hop-off bus tour, which was with city sightseeing when we booked it, but the company was either bought over by Skyline Sightseeing or they just changed their name.
Or something.
Yeah, something
changed.
Or they merged. Something definitely happened. But we were informed by Trailfinders about this. We were told that the company's changed from this to this. And gave us the new pickup address for the tickets. So again, we had no idea that had even happened. Trailfinders told us about it, so again, it's a good point to them. The bus tour also included Alcatraz, the ferry there, and a bus to Sausalito, so over the bridge. New bus company, which we didn't know about this bit until we got there, also gave us free Madame Tussauds tickets, so that was a quick afternoon visit too. So we did all those things booked through Trailfinders. When we were there, we also visited the Walt Disney Family Museum. That wasn't through Trailfinders, didn't pre-book our tickets, we just bought them at the door.
We were risky with that because we weren't even sure if we were going to make it there.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have much time in San Francisco, so we didn't want to pre-book it.
And it was only open certain days.
Yeah, they I can't remember.
I can't remember what days it was.
I'm getting kicked.
So yeah, it was only certain days that it was open, and depending on when our Alcatraz ferry day fell, because you had to go and book what day and what time, depended that.
The Alcatraz tickets worked that you went to the bus tour location in the morning and they told you what time your ferry was for Alcatraz.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure if we were going to fit in Disney.
Yeah, so that's how that worked. So at the end of San Francisco, we picked up the car. So the car itself we didn't book through Trailfinders because it's our honeymoon, wanted to go all out. and rent a convertible Mustang or Camaro. Said this to the travel agent, and he said, yeah, you can pick up a car and drop it off in LA, but he can only guarantee us a Chrysler 200. So we quite honestly said, no, we'd rather book external for that, which he at the time was completely fine. He didn't like bat an eye or make any faces about it. He just seemed to be, that's completely fine. He actually said, yeah, he'd do the same.
So yeah, once we got the car, we then drove to Monterey. We stayed one night in Monterey in a hotel called Monterey Tides. Again, that was booked through Trailfinders. They did ask us why we were visiting, I think, when we were checking in. And so we said we were on our honeymoon, and we got a bottle of wine for there, which was good because it was only one night, so we wouldn't have really benefited that much from a like upgrade or anything like that. But we got our free wine. And then we drove to Pismo Beach, where we stayed 2 nights in the Sea Venture Hotel, my personal favourite. Again booked through Trailfinders, and again we mentioned that we were on our honeymoon, and we got a voucher for the hotel restaurant for like a buy one get second half price main. Yeah. So I don't think we would have used the restaurant if we hadn't got that voucher though.
No,
so
but I think that might have been one of your favourite
meals as well. It was my favourite meal as well. Originally we had booked a wine tour, that's why we were staying in Pismo Beach for 2 nights, so that we could actually drink and not worry about driving the next day or anything. But then a couple of months before we left, we had an email from our person. I can't remember.
It wasn't actually our person, it was someone else.
Oh, was it a different person?
Yeah.
From Trailfinders anyway, saying that they'd been trying to call us, and basically the San Obispo wine tour they shut down or something.
So, yeah, something basically the tour.
They stopped. They stopped working with them, and they offered us other ones because there were other wine tours nearby, or the money back, and we just took the money rather than worrying about drinking or anything. To be honest, just did our own little wine tour.
Yeah, just decided we'd take an easy day.
I think that's it. So yeah, they just took the money off the end balance because we hadn't paid the end balance yet anyway.
Yeah, so we were fine with that option, and just glad that they told us and gave us the option of, do you want to not do it, or do you want to find a different one? So after Pismo Beach, we drove to Hollywood and dropped off the car. You alright, Pop? Dropped off the car, and they called us a taxi that took us to our hotel. Stayed at the Dream Hotel Hollywood for 4 nights. This was through Trailfinders. Booked a 2-day hop-on hop-off bus tour using the company Starline Tours. That was through Trailfinders that we booked it, and also through Trailfinders we booked 1-day tickets to Universal Studios, which took us about 4 hours to do.
Yeah.
Very short. Then the other thing that we booked while there was the Warner Brothers studio tour. This was directly through Warner Brothers website, not through Trailfinders. I don't think that was an option with Trailfinders, was it?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it might. Well, they always add on different tickets and things, so you might be able to get it.
Yeah,
but
at the time it wasn't.
No, or unless we hadn't noticed it and we added it on later.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then we got an Uber to Anaheim, which you all know is Disney. We stayed in the Hilton Hotel for 3 nights. Hello. What's that about? Again, that was a Trailfinders booking. We pre-booked like a Disney view room so that we could watch fireworks and things, so I think we probably had one of the best rooms in that hotel anyway. And we booked our 3-day pass for Disneyland. We did not book our 3-day pass with Trailfinders. It was an option, but it was actually better for us to go direct and cheaper for us to go direct with Disney, and you get the Disney perks. So we went direct with Disney, and we what are you doing? You crazy dog. Yes. We went direct with Disney, and it meant that because it was a 3-day park hopper, we got 1 day of those 3 days. We got extra magic hours, so we got to go into the park earlier, even though we weren't staying in a Disney hotel, so that was good. Then we got an Uber to LAX airport so that we could fly to Vegas, our last stop. We stayed in the Cosmopolitan, again booked through Trailfinders, and again we probably splashed out on that hotel room.
Yeah. That was
Bellagio,
the Bellagio Fountain View.
Bellagio Fountain View. but the hotels in LA or in Vegas are so cheap that compared to what we paid on all our other places.
Now, there's a question, sorry. The resort fee, was that included, or was that something we had to pay when we got there? Because the hotels, they all advertise the price of the room, but they don't advertise the resort fee that you have to pay.
Yeah,
I think that was included because we booked it through Trailfinders. It was included in that.
Yeah, I don't think we had resort fees.
No, we didn't pay anything on arrival.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
But that must be a Trailfinders thing because they're partnered with all these places. We also went to the Grand Canyon on the pink Jeep tours, again booked through Trailfinders, so they just send you a little voucher thing in your pack to say what day you're going and to contact the company.
Yeah.
So we had to contact the pink Jeep tour company the night before so that we could get a time for pickup in the morning.
Just used the resort phone.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we used our, yeah, we called it in, we called them from the hotel in Anaheim.
Oh, did we?
Because you had to call them like 24 hours before or
yeah,
something.
Like that. We also did 2 shows when we were in Vegas. You can't do Vegas without shows, but we booked them directly just ourselves. I think we just used money that we'd got from the wedding anyway.
Yeah.
Because we weren't going to splash out, but we splashed out on 2 shows, Penn and Teller and Piff the Magic Dragon. And then we flew home via New York.
Yeah, so that kind of summarises our honeymoon and all the things that we booked directly through other companies and what we booked with Trailfinders. So it gives you an idea if you can get quite a lot done with them. So just wanted to now talk about our experience using Trailfinders a bit more. So we only really spoke to 2 people. The person we planned the holiday with. So that was
in person, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually planned that with them in person in the shop whenever we got the quote. And the other person was, so once we wanted to actually book, we called them up and the person that we originally planned it with was on holiday, so we got put through to someone in a different store. They then took over our account and became our kind of primary contact. So we also spoke to him anytime we had issues or anything or wanted to make any changes. And whenever we received that email about the wine tour, we actually called him instead of the person that had emailed us, and he knew all about it and was able to sort it for us. So we always had the option to call or email him, or just call or email the kind of main support and then get put through to someone else. But where we could, we spoke to our main person. Mostly emailed him, and excluding the kind of week of Christmas New Year, it was always lots of prompt responses. They kind of slowed down then, but you can't fault them for that. Everything slows down then. So there was speaking to people. There was also they call it View Trail service on their website and their app. So it allows you to see and manage your booking. So it displays your full itinerary, your booking reference numbers, your contact details for any third parties that you've booked things through, and gives you e-vouchers. So the e-voucher for the pink Jeep tours was available to print from there.
Yeah.
And we're people who like to plan everything out and have actual physical documents with us. So this was brilliant for us. It meant we could get a full idea of what was going on. And you could also see your payment history, outstanding balance, and instructions on how to make payments.
Why are you tottering
You're
around?
not settling, Pupper. Right, come on up beside me. Come on. That's my boy. That's my boy. So speaking of payments, with Trailfinders you got the Honeymoon Wishlist, as they call it. So as we were booking our honeymoon, we were able to use this service. It allows family and friends to contribute towards the cost of your honeymoon. Now, the situation for us was a bit odd. We didn't really find it 100% useful to the purpose that they wanted it to be. Because as it was our honeymoon, we wanted to go as soon as we were married. I think we were married the Saturday and went on the Monday.
Yeah.
But the final payment for your trip has to be made 2 months before departure. So that would mean for this money to actually go towards the contribution of the costs, it would need everyone would have to have paid you 2 months before your actual wedding, but we didn't want to really rush people or pressure anyone.
Well, it's common. It's not common, but it's people send invites out 8 weeks before. So
there you go. That's 8 weeks. That's 2 months. So what we did was we paid it up front ourselves and added a link to the Honeymoon Wishlist on our website and closed it a week after we left for our honeymoon. So what that meant was Trailfinders would collect all these money gifts for us and then refund us it back to the card we used to make the final payment. And this didn't happen to us, but if you had more money donated to you than the actual cost of the honeymoon, any additional donations would be turned into a travel voucher for Trailfinders.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't give you more money back than you had given them.
It was very complicated.
Yeah.
We had to get that explained to us multiple times as well because different people were saying different things.
Yeah, that was... Eventually we managed to work it out and get enough people saying the same sort of thing to make it worth our while.
Yeah.
So basically what it meant was we could put a way for people to give us money without having to give out our bank details to everyone. If people didn't mind, you know, not buying a physical present, a lot of people did just want to give money for our wedding. So really, to summarize, I'd recommend using them.
Yeah, I think they were fantastic.
Yeah, good options. We've looked at all our brochures and they have options for all over the world, loads of places, well organized company, friendly staff, good prices. Honeymoon Wishlist, bit odd, but it served its purpose for us, I suppose.
Well, because you put it on the credit card, it essentially helped pay off the credit card. If you were using a different card, it would be different. Does that make sense? I
suppose so, yeah. I reckon if we were to do a multi-stop holiday again, we would use them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of summarises up. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. If you have any questions about our honeymoon, what we did, or any more questions about our experience with Trailfinders, please do comment below and we'll get back to you. But that's us for now.
Yes, I'd just like to point out I'm squirming and all uncomfy, but if you follow us on Instagram, I'm 36 weeks pregnant, so this isn't the comfiest. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'll let you go relax then.
Yes, that's us. So
yes, thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye. Are you gonna get the camera, pup?
You can turn it off.
No, you just got a blanket.
That was the end.
Good boy.